What's up, guys? So, I was having a conversation recently with my father, and we were talking about sports, right? And from that conversation, right, it made me think about some of the problems that we're having in the society, right? Or when it comes to sports, right? See, we talk about on this channel some of the things that are going on in society. I talked about recently how society is collapsing, right? Well, it's not just in relationships, right? It's collapsing into everything, right? Entertainment, sports, politics, the whole thing is collapsing, right? So I want to talk about my thoughts on sports today, right? Because if you look around at the sports, right, the trending thing right now is Kyrie Irving. You know, freedom of speech pretty much is gone, right? When he first came out and did his thing, right, he just posted a link, and it was anti-Semitic, and freedom of speech, all this stuff was a problem, right? That I thought was a problem with it, and people were shitting on him and calling him all this type of stuff, and people in his fellow players were throwing him under the bus and all this type of stuff, right? But when they put that list out, they want to get back on his side, right? It's just fake love, right? And this is not gonna happen. Let me turn you off right now. So we got stuff going on like that in the sports world, right? You got these in baseball. You got shifts. You got statistics where people are going for it more on fourth down than they've ever done, right? And so we got a lot of stuff going on in the sports world that's really changing, right? Some for the good, but I think mostly for the bad, right? Because we've missed accountability and responsibility, right? And it's affecting the sports world as well. And I'm going to talk about it. So I got a few points I want to talk about, right? And this is what I got from the conversation with my father, right? When we see, these quarterbacks like Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, these archetypes, right? These are the most talented quarterbacks we've ever seen in the history of the league, right? We've never seen Patrick Mahomes make those throws. We've never seen a 6'5", 6'6" quarterback that can run the ball and has a freaking cannon for an arm like Josh Allen, right? We've never seen a quarterback as fast as Lamar Jackson. So this generation of quarterback is the most talented generation we've ever seen, right? But these players are out of control, right? They don't know what Tom Brady and Peyton Manning know, right? The little valuable lessons of just maintaining stuff. Don't throw the game away. Don't do too much, right? But what I mean with this part is that players are out of control is that it comes down to the coaching, right? And what doesn't help with coaching today is the booster clubs. The booster clubs, the parents, right? They'll take their kid out in a heartbeat. They'll get on you in a heartbeat. The booster club parents will take the money out of a thing, right? So you're, as a coach, you're tied in a way. So you shouldn't let them do certain stuff, but you have to because you know the consequence behind it, right? Which results in these players are out of control. Andy Reid cannot reel back Patrick Mahomes at this point and say, hey, stop doing too much, right? I was watching Josh Allen and them play the Vikings. They were kicking their ass, right? But because Josh Allen was being too careless, and he's still a young player, right? And I'm not saying I'm the sports analyst guy in the biggest world, right? But if you watch that game, he clearly lost the game for them, right? Why didn't that coach just pull him to the side and say, hey, it's not about doing too much right now. We're up 17 in the fourth quarter. Just maintain it, run the ball. If it's not there, throw it away, take the sack, it's cool. No turnovers, right? But it's like these players have a leash, right? It's what they called it back in or my coaches and all that stuff you to call it, right? Or parents and everything used to call it back in the day. You have a leash. Certain players have a longer leash than other players, right? You let the players that are good, they can fuck up way more and still stay in the game than a guy that's not very good, right? A guy that's not very good, he turns the ball over twice. As soon as he gets in the ball game, if it's basketball, he might not play the rest of the game, right? But the starting point guard can do that one time a quarter and still stay in the game and be in the fourth quarter in the last 2 minutes, right? And so this is the problem that we're having, right? The players are out of control to the point where the coaches can't reel them back in anymore, right? These players, they're God at this point, right? And it's harming what I think the game is, and it's harming, overall fun of the game or the thinking of the game, right? Because it goes just much further than just X's and O's, right? Another thing why sports is declining, right? And why it's not as entertaining anymore, right? A lot of these coaches are not logical like they used to be, right? Every Saturday, every Sunday, me and my dad are watching some kind of game, right? And I'll call him. I'll be like, "Did you see the play he did right there? Or you see like the call they made right there?" Right? And we'll both talk about it, and we'll both be like, "Why didn't he just kick the field goal?" Right? Alabama, Tennessee. Tennessee should have blew Alabama out. It shouldn't have came out to that last play, right? But since the coach was going for it on fourth down twice and didn't get it, that's what forced Alabama to stay in the game, right? See, these coaches have gotten so smart, they're stupid, right? They're going for it on their own. I think it was this last week. The Oregon coach, who is, he's a good coach. His aggressive nature is what makes him a good coach. But, your strength can be your weakness as well, right? Dan Lanning went for it on fourth down at his own 40, right? And he slips. Running back slips, turnover on downs. Washington kicks the field goal, win the game. That's an easy decision. You're on your own 35, 40. Kick it. Punt it off. Let your defense, have faith in your defense to stop the other team, right? Logical coaches are not. They're not. This is why Bill O'Brien got fired, right? We can go into a whole thing about play calling, right? But that's too in depth, right? The average person doesn't know too much about the play callings and the cover threes and all that stuff, right? So this is the big thing, right? This is the juice of it that you guys probably came to watch this video for, right? They claim to be social justice warriors, but really aren't social justice at all, right? A social justice warrior is somebody like Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, right? Gandhi, Mother Teresa, right? Jesus. You know what I'm saying? They stood up for amount of people and put their lives on the line, right? LeBron James and them get up there and talk about something. They're not putting their jobs on the line. They threw Kyrie under the bus. Kyrie might not ever play again, right? And I'm not even saying that he's right in his belief system, because it's not about him being right. It's about him having the freedom to express what he wants to express, right? But they claim to be these woke people, but don't want to lose no money, right? How can you do that and be afraid of loss, right? So they're not really social justice at all, right? And as a fan, we come to these sporting events, right, to get away from the real world, get away from the problems, right? Not watch sports just to see it thrown at us again, right? Next point, last point, right? The sports have gotten too soft. It's not as violent as it used to be, right? And the violence is what made it exciting. Let's just be honest about it, right? When the guy at third base, right, coming from home, hits the catcher, that adds more drama to the story, right? When a wide receiver can catch a ball down the middle of the field and take a hit by Ed Reed, that speaks to the quality of wide receiver that guy is, right? When the quarterback doesn't have all these special, treatment where you touch him and it's a illegal touching or roughing the passer, right? When you have a targeting call and somebody is eliminated from the whole game, right? This is what kills the game. Because just like with any other call, right? This is not going to be called precisely right every time, right? So a targeting call that they missed is going to be they miss targeting calls that should be clearly targeting calls, and the targeting calls that are barely targeting, right? It could be the guy just slipped and fell, and the guy was going in to wrap his arms around and hit him in his chest, but because he slipped and fell, he hit him head to head. So targeting, right? This is what kills the game, right? And these owners and all this stuff pretend like they care about the health of the players. If that's the case, why the hell it takes so long to get these concussions and all that shit, right? Figure it out, right? Why did the movie Concussion come out 20, 30 years later, right? They don't care. So stop pretending. So sports is not sports. Whenever I go out and do stuff on Saturdays and Sundays, right? Whenever I go back in and check the scores, something like that, I really feel like I didn't miss anything, right? I feel like, okay, I just missed a day. I just missed a day of sports. My day still went well. I didn't see anything that, sports is declining so much. Interest in everything is just dropping, right? NBA, it's going to be a tough year watching the NBA. Just not interested in it anymore. It's too predictable at this point. The Warriors are probably going to win it this year. Them are the Bucks. Baseball's too long. It's too boring, right? Part of that is because people's attention spans is too short because of social media and all that stuff, right? TikTok and all that. Football's getting too soft, right? It's all about offense. There's no defense being played anymore. You can't play quality good defense anymore, right? So sports is out. The next 15 to 20 years, it'll probably be an industry that doesn't run the world like it does now, right? It's not as much money being put into it, right? But who knows? I could be wrong. People still could be watching it 20 years later, but it's going to look totally different 20, 30 years later, right? And I can't say I'll be watching it with as much intensity as I used to, right? Because it's just not as entertaining. It's just not, the coaches and everything don't make any sense, right? With the NIL and everything in the college and it's just out of control. Transfer portal out of control, right? But this is my thoughts on sports. It's not going in the right direction. Any of them are really. Only sport that's probably on the rise is probably hockey, soccer in American society. But it's going to be hard to watch it and within the next 5 to 10 years, right? But I'm making this video too long. You guys go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. Share the video if you liked the video, and I'll be back with another one. Have a good day, good week. We out.